guys, it's Steph. Welcome back. Today I'm going to do a little video for you on King's Cage. I finished it last week and I had a lot of mixed emotions about it. I don't know if anybody saw my Instagram story, but I was kind of all over the place about this book, and then I realized I really needed to do a video on it to just get all of my feelings out. So that's what this is. The first part of this video is going to be spoiler free. It's going to be really short spoiler free version because obviously there's a lot to talk about. The second portion of the video, I'll let you know, is going to have spoilers galore. So stay tuned. So basically, King's Cage is the third book of the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. The first one, of course, is Red Queen. The second one is Glass Sword, and then this one is King's Cage. And I thought this was going to be a trilogy, so I'm a little surprised that there's going to be another book after this. I really thought that this was going to be the end. Basically, the story starts out, and there's a young girl. Her name is Mare Barrow, and she lives in a world that is divided up by into two class systems. One is the Silver Bloods, and those people have magical abilities. They can manipulate, metal, fire, water, storms, weather. And then there's, of course, the Red Bloods, who have no magical abilities. And this girl basically falls literally into the court of the Silver King, which is a very dangerous place to be. And it chronicles her story and what happens once she goes into the court. Now, I can't really say a lot more than that without a lot of spoilers. There is a love triangle square deal. Of course, this book has a lot of similarities to The Hunger Games, where obviously there's a female protagonist and she's the heroine. There's some other things. I don't really know. I can't really say a whole lot without giving a lot of serious spoilers away. But basically, that's the gist. So turn me off, stop the video now if you do not want any spoilers for this series, and particularly for King's Cage. So I'm assuming that the rest of the people watching this video are people who have read King's Cage or like to spoil themselves. So we're just gonna dive right in. First of all, I have a lot of issues with this whole series. The first thing, and this is really stupid, I hate the main character's name. Her name is Mare Barrow, and every time I read her name on the page, my brain swaps the B and the M, and it makes me think that her name is Bone Marrow. So I just really hate her name. Why would you name your female character after a horse? Why? Somebody just answer that question for me. Secondly, her name is really similar to a character from Red Rising, so that's another interesting point. I'm gonna kind of just lay it all out here. A lot of it might not make any sense because I have a lot of weird thoughts running through my brain about this. First of all, I would like to say that I did not like this book. I think that I don't really like the series, actually. I think I gave Red Queen like 3 stars. I gave Glass Sword 2, and I would probably give this one like 1.5. And that's only because I feel like they're really pointless. I feel like I could have skipped book 2 and 3 and probably would have been able to pick up book 4 whenever it comes out without being lost. But that's also because I've read The Hunger Games, and I've also read A Song of Ice and Fire, and this book is a total ripoff. This series is a ripoff. So I'm just going to dive right in about how I feel about this book. Anyway, moving on, this book has 3 points of view. One of them, of course, is Mare, the other is Cameron, and the final one is Evangeline. I was actually pretty thrilled with Evangeline being point of view because you are conditioned to hate her so much in the first 2 books that kind of seeing where she's coming from is kind of interesting. But I have some problems with the way that she was portrayed. And this is just my personal opinion, and it doesn't mean much. But I feel like Aveyard developed Evangeline as a lesbian character to prove a point to herself more than to further the story of Evangeline. I don't care. I don't give 2 hoots who characters sleep with. But I feel like if you're going to portray and make that point so much a component of your character's POV, that you need to not make it flat. Like, I'm supposed to feel a lot of things for Evangeline and her lover, who she's madly in love with apparently, but I don't feel anything for her. I feel like her girlfriend is more like a kept lover, and she doesn't really have, Evangeline has a need for her, but I don't feel like it's like a loving relationship, and I want to feel that, because even though Evangeline has always been like this kind of antagonist character, I still want to know that she has human emotions, and she's tried to portray that here, but I feel like she tried to make her her sexual orientation more important than the rest of the story, and I don't really feel like that's a proper portrayal of the gay and lesbian community, to make their whole purpose to be a beacon of, hey, look at me, I'm diversity. I just think it's really just deceptive and wrong. But that being said, I really actually do like Evangeline, and I think that Aveyard would have done a better job writing a book from the villain's point of view this entire time than writing it from Mare's point of view, because I feel like she maybe writes villains a little bit better. Like, I feel like she has this kind of like nastier sass to her, and that comes across in her Evangeline writing as opposed to any of her other characters. So now the point with Cameron, I think that it was pointless. I don't understand why she was a point of view character. All she really did was bitch and moan about Cal and then whine about her brother, but then she rescues her brother and you don't hear anything else about him. Like, there's a line in passing where she's talking about how difficult it was for some of the rescued people to come around to the idea that the Scarlet Guard was not bad and not evil, like Maven was telling everyone it was. And that's the only reference that you have after she rescues him, and I think that that's really strange, because that was kind of her entire purpose, was to save her brother, and now she has, and now nothing. So I didn't really like her all that much. I feel like she could be a good character if she had more development, but she also comes across as really flat. Now, of course, then there's Mare. I almost called her Bone. There's Mare, and she's just still, like, she's not as bad as she was in Glass Sword, but she's still just this whiny little brat. And I feel like she's just dying for attention, because there's scenes where, you know, like Maven doesn't come to visit her and doesn't call her to him or anything like that. And so she willingly does things to get his attention. And I just feel like that's like, I don't know if she's trying to portray Stockholm Syndrome, or if she's trying to make us think that she's having this really deep internal struggle about Cal versus Maven. But I just thought that it was kind of weird. And then, you know, she opens up this door to the idea that Maven's mother basically went inside his brain and messed with him and took out the love that he had for his father and for his brother, and tried to remove the love that he had for Mare. See, I can't remember her name. Tried to take out the love that he has for Mare, but could not, and instead it turned into this weird, super weird obsession with her. Now, that reminds me a lot of another book series that I've read, and that is A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin, because Maven is Joffrey, and because think about it. So Maven's mother is Cersei. She had a relationship with a king who was in love with another woman. Hello. She kills the king. Again, hello. And then she puts her son on the throne, and her son's a little bastard. And, well, literally in that case. But, so I just feel like she couldn't write an original character. The only difference I think between Maven and Joffrey is the color of their hair. Because even Maven had an Evangeline sort of Marjorie. I don't know. So I just really feel like this book was like a cheap ripoff. of a couple of other books that I've read that were written much better. Also, I feel like Aveyard spent a lot of time trying to make these standalone, like, badass lines and one-liners and stuff, thinking that maybe they'd make for, like, really great taglines or quotes if this series is ever turned into a movie. And that kind of irritates me as well, because I feel like the most powerful words in a book are the ones that have a lot of meaning. As an example, the front of the book says, "All will burn." Who burned? Somebody tell me. Who burned in the book? Who? Maybe my hopes and dreams for this series? I don't know, but nobody really burned. Overall, I give this book like a 1.5. I really didn't like it. I honestly, when I ordered the book, I thought that this was a trilogy and not a series. So I was pretty excited to be done with the series. And then I learned that there's another book coming in like a year. And I don't want to read it. But I feel like I have to read it just to see how terrible it is. I don't know. Y'all, help a girl. Help me. If you can tell me why this book is fantastic, that has nothing to do with the fact that Red Queen wasn't half bad, let me know, because I'd be really interested to hear it. Thanks guys so much, and happy reading. Bye-bye.